You'd never imagine that a humble penny, tossed into a shoebox or buried in a drawer, could be worth nearly $1 million, but today, that unexpected truth could change your life in a single moment. Yes, I'm talking about the legendary 1964 Lincoln cent with no mint mark, the one that the market values at an astonishing $949,000. If you've held an old penny and wondered what hidden treasure might be sitting under your fingertips, stay with me. This video could unlock a fortune. Imagine for a split second that you reach into an old jar and pull out a coin that could fund your dreams. What would you do? Would you stay stuck in the same routine, or would you seize the chance to step into a world of wealth and freedom? That's the opportunity we explore today, and trust me, you don't want to let fear or doubt hold you back. That IT begins with Act 1. Let's set the scene. It's ordinary life, the dusty drawer, the forgotten collection, the sentimental overflow. You're not looking for a miracle. Yet without warning, the extraordinary slams into your world. That's the power of this penny. But how could a simple 1964 Lincoln cent, without a mint mark, be worth nearly $1 million? Something feels off, a question you can't ignore. The answer lies in rarity and error. Only a handful of these were struck on the Philadelphia planchet accidentally, missing the mint mark. Think of a secret code slipped past the mint workers, just a few coins, disguised as common sense, yet extraordinary in value. That alone should excite you, but here's the moment to feel that surge of fear. What if you're sitting on one right now and don't even realize it? That feeling, the fear of missing out, is what propels action. Now, let me pause and ask, have you ever gazed at a dime and thought, $1 million coin? Probably not. But that slippery thought, that maybe the coin you pass by every day is priceless, that's the spark. And right now, you're leaning in, because this might be your breakout moment, which brings us to Act 2. We need clarity. This is the journey from doubt to conviction. First, yes, the current market valuation for a verified, high-grade 1964 Lincoln cent with no mint mark is around $949,000. Experts and top auction houses confirm this as the highest realized sale, reflecting how rare and desirable this coin is in pristine condition. That number makes your pulse race, but it also demands caution and knowledge. Not every worn penny qualifies. You need proper authentication, grading by a trusted authority. And if you have one, the next steps could launch you into a world of wealth. Now, don't let that sink in too quickly, because here's your pattern interrupt. Imagine your cat knocks over that same jar of coins. What's more valuable, the cat or the penny? Laugh. But when you think of the cat launching your fortune across the floor, suddenly you're wide awake again. Because this coin matters. So now you're with me, heart pounding, imagining that, what if? You're asking, do I look through that jar tonight? Do I get that coin graded? That's the urgency I'm feeding, because opportunity waits for no one. In Act 2's finale, we meet a quiet twist. Remember, only a handful exist. You might open that box and, nothing. Yet the possibility means everything. It cramps your chest with excitement and flickers the fear. What if I had it and let it sit? That's the cliffhanger setting you up for Act 3. Act 3 is transformation, your leap from possibility to action, from dreaming to doing. Picture the moment you unearth that penny. How would it feel? Would you cash it in to fund your dreams? Travel the world? Secure your family's future? That's the power of this moment, and it isn't theoretical. People just like you, 50-year-old office managers, grandparents, regular folks, have made that leap. They didn't plan to get rich. But when the rare penny emerged from obscurity, it changed everything. Now it's your turn, and the time is slipping by. Literally could be this evening. You feel it. That urgency, that trembling tip of destiny. But before you act, slow down, gather the facts. Inspect your pennies under light. Look for that smooth, mint-mark-free surface, compare dimensions. Talk to a trusted coin dealer or get a provisional photo date and exist. But don't wait too long. Because every moment delays possibility. That fear of, what if I waited too long, is stronger than the fear of acting. And now, here's your final cliffhanger. Tonight, will you open that jar? Will you phone that dealer? Will you take your chance at a life-changing moment? Because if you don't, what you lose could be far greater than the penny. Imagine living with, "If only I'd checked." That's heavier than any coin that you've heard the story, felt the fear, tasted the excitement. Now it's your story. Are you going to let this slip? Or step into your moment? The 1964 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent could be your golden ticket, and it could be sitting in your sock drawer. Point one last thought: what would you do with nearly $1 million in pennies? Stay inspired. Stay alert. And maybe, just maybe, tonight, you're a millionaire. Imagine walking into your kitchen, emptying out an old coffee can of pennies you've had stashed away for decades, and realizing that one of those little copper coins could be worth nearly $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1-cent coin, minted in 1965 without a mint mark, has sold for as much as $945,000. That's not just pocket change. That's life-changing money. Now, before you say, "Come on, it's just a penny," let me stop you. Because what I'm about to share could make you look at every coin in your house in a completely different way. People dismiss pennies every day. They fall between couch cushions, get left behind at convenience stores, or tossed into jars without a second thought. But what if the penny you're overlooking is your ticket to financial freedom? What if that tiny coin could buy you a luxury car, pay off your mortgage, or even fund your retirement? And here's where it gets exciting. The 1965 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent is a fascinating piece of American coinage history. Normally, coins bear mint marks to show where they were produced: Denver, San Francisco, Philadelphia. But in 1965, during a coin shortage, the U.S. Mint temporarily removed mint marks altogether. That means every coin from that year technically lacks a mint mark. But here's the twist: not every penny from 1965 is created equal. Among the millions that were struck, a very small number have unique traits, variations, errors, or pristine conditions, that skyrocket their value. These are the coins that collectors fight tooth and nail to own. And that fight? That's what drives the price up to jaw-dropping figures. Now, let me pause for a second. Have you ever heard someone say, "Don't bother with pennies, they're worthless"? Well, I bet those same people would feel pretty foolish if they found out the little copper disc they stepped over could fund their dream lifestyle. So, here's the real question: are you going to be the one who overlooks it, or the one who takes the time to check? Let's dig deeper. The average 1965 Lincoln penny might only fetch a few cents over face value, maybe $1 or $2 if it's in nice condition. But then there are those rare specimens, the ones with flawless preservation, or a unique strike that sets them apart. Imagine a coin that has survived nearly 6 decades without a scratch, its original shine still blazing under the light. These are the coins that send shockwaves through auctions, coins that have collectors raising paddles and driving prices into the hundreds of thousands. One of them recently sold for $945,000. That's right, a single penny, but here's where fear creeps in. Every year, thousands of people unknowingly give away valuable coins like these. They roll them up, cash them in, or simply hand them off as spare change. Once they're gone, they're gone. Someone else reaps the reward, while the original owner is left shaking their head, never realizing what they had. That's the risk. That's the danger of not paying attention. So, let me interrupt this seriousness for just a moment. Imagine buying a cup of coffee with $1 million penny. Can you picture the barista's face if they knew? Talk about the most expensive latte in history. Alright, humor aside, this is exactly why you need to pay attention. The difference between poverty and prosperity could be sitting quietly in a dusty jar in your garage. Now, what makes the 1965 penny even more interesting is the historical backdrop. The United States was undergoing major change in the mid-60s, politically, socially, and yes, even monetarily. The coin shortage was real, and the mint had to make rapid adjustments. These adjustments led to quirks in production, quirks that today translate to extraordinary value. Every rare penny is like a time capsule, a direct link to that era. Holding one is like holding history in the palm of your hand. And that historical connection only adds to its allure for collectors, but here's the cliffhanger. You're probably wondering, how do you know if the penny in your hand is worth a fortune or just worth 1 cent? The truth is, the answer isn't simple. It depends on condition, rarity, and those subtle details that only trained eyes usually catch. And yes, that mystery is exactly what keeps people searching. Now, here's where urgency comes in. Coins like these don't sit around forever. When one surfaces, it makes headlines, and collectors move fast. Prices surge, auctions explode, and the chance to cash in could vanish before you even realize it. If you're sitting on old coins, especially 1965 pennies, the time to act is now. Because every day that passes is another chance for someone else to claim the fortune that could have been yours, and if you think this is all hype, let me ask you this: how many people do you know who thought they'd never be rich, but then bought a lottery ticket that changed everything? Rare coins are no different, except you don't have to gamble. The ticket might already be sitting in your house, waiting for you to notice. So here's the takeaway. Check your pennies. Examine every 1965 Lincoln cent you come across. Don't assume it's just another coin. Because hidden in plain sight could be a penny worth nearly $1 million. A coin that could transform your financial future, and if you're still skeptical, remember this: someone out there just became $945,000 richer, and they started with the same kind of penny you've been ignoring. The only difference is, they looked. So, what about you? Will you look? Will you take the chance to unlock the wealth that might already be in your pocket? Or will you let it slip away forever? The choice is yours. But remember, fortunes are made by those who pay attention, and sometimes, by those who believe in the power of a single penny. That's not a fantasy. That's the reality of the 1970 mint mark Lincoln cent, a tiny piece of copper that could change your life forever. Today, we're going to explore how a coin you might already own could unlock a fortune beyond your wildest dreams. But I'll warn you, by the end of this video, you'll never look at loose change the same way again. Most people think wealth is locked behind real estate deals, stock market strategies, or starting a business. Yet hidden right in plain sight, in dresser drawers, in coffee cans, even in the old jar of coins in the garage, are treasures that collectors are desperate to pay hundreds of thousands, even millions, of dollars for. And here's the kicker: some of those treasures are hiding inside the humble Lincoln penny. Think about it. When was the last time you actually checked a penny before spending it? The truth is, one rare penny just sold with a market value pushing $941,000. That's almost $1 million for a single cent. Let me ask you something. How many pennies have you spent in your lifetime without even looking at them? 10,000? Maybe 50,000? Now here's the fear factor: what if you've already had one of these rare coins in your hands, and let it go for a stick of gum? That thought alone should make you dig into every coin stash you've ever ignored. But let's pause here for a second. You might be wondering, what exactly makes the 1970 Lincoln cent so special? Why would someone pay the price of a luxury sports car, or even a house, for a single coin? The answer lies in errors, minting quirks, and rarity. The Denver Mint in 1970 produced pennies with subtle doubling in the lettering and date, mistakes that most people never notice. To a casual spender, it's just another coin. To a collector, it's a jackpot. And this is where opportunity lies, in the details most people ignore. Now I know what you might be thinking: come on, how could I ever be lucky enough to find one? But here's the truth. People do, and people have. Everyday individuals, retirees, workers, collectors who weren't even looking, have stumbled across one of these coins tucked inside their old savings, pocket change, or inherited collections. Suddenly, their lives changed overnight. It's the thrill of discovery mixed with the security of wealth, all wrapped in something as ordinary as a penny. But let's break that ordinary image for a moment with a little humor. Imagine walking into Starbucks, slapping down a penny for your coffee, and the cashier saying, "That'll be $941,000 in change." Wouldn't that make you rethink the value of what's in your wallet? That's the crazy reality we're dealing with. now here's where it gets serious. The coin market is hotter than ever. Collectors are in bidding wars, auctions are climbing to new records, and the appetite for rare coins has never been stronger. And with the value of the 1970 penny hitting nearly $1 million, you have to ask yourself, how much longer will these opportunities last? Every day, coins are being bought, sold, locked away in collections, and taken off the market forever. The window of opportunity is shrinking, and hesitation could mean missing out on life-changing wealth. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine finding one of these coins, selling it for nearly $1 million, and suddenly paying off your mortgage, clearing every debt, setting up a retirement that doesn't just feel comfortable, but luxurious. Imagine gifting your kids a future where college is covered without a second thought, or taking the vacations you've always dreamed of without checking the price tag. That's not exaggeration. That's the very real, very tangible outcome of one discovery, but here's where I'll leave you hanging for a moment. Because while everyone dreams of finding one, very few know exactly what to look for. And without that knowledge, you could easily miss it. So before you rush off to tear through your coin jars, let's get clear on the details that separate a life-changing penny from just another piece of copper. The 1970 Lincoln cent you want to look for isn't just any old penny from that year. It's the one with a double die obverse, meaning the lettering and numbers, especially in the word liberty and the date, show a ghostly doubling effect. It's subtle, but unmistakable once you know what you're looking for. And here's the best part, you don't need special equipment. A simple magnifying glass and a few minutes of your time could reveal whether you're sitting on a treasure worth hundreds of thousands. Now, I can almost hear your heartbeat picking up, because this is the moment of possibility. But let me turn that excitement into urgency. Every day that passes, collectors are snapping up these coins. The market value today stands around $941,000, but as rarity increases and demand continues to climb, tomorrow it could be even higher. The longer you wait to search, the greater the chance that opportunities slip through your fingers. And here's a final question that should linger in your mind: when the story of your life is told, will it include the moment you recognized fortune disguised as a penny? Or will it be the regret of realizing you once held $1 million coin and never knew it? The choice, as always, is yours. But after today, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. The one you've ignored for decades could actually be worth nearly $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single Lincoln cent, from 1987, with no visible mint mark, has stunned the coin collecting world by selling for up to $938,000. Now, before you rush to dump your change jar on the table, let's take a journey into what makes this tiny piece of copper one of the most valuable modern coins in America. You see, most people think of pennies as pocket change, the smallest, most overlooked coin in the United States. But what if I told you that a printing error, a missing mint mark, and an incredibly rare set of circumstances could transform this everyday coin into a financial miracle? That's the shocking reality collectors are waking up to. And the truth is, this discovery could mean life-changing wealth for someone who happens to find one. Will it be you? Or will you let the opportunity slip away? Now, let's rewind to 1987. The US Mint was churning out billions of Lincoln cents. They were meant to have mint marks, small letters like D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But in extremely rare cases, something went wrong. A die error left a batch of coins without their mint marks. They slipped into circulation unnoticed, blending in with every other penny in America. Imagine holding something so rare in your hand and not even knowing it. That's both thrilling and terrifying. How many people unknowingly spent theirs on a pack of gum? Here's the part that makes your heart race: collectors are not just interested in these coins. They're obsessed. The thrill of owning one of the rarest modern cents has sparked a market frenzy. At auctions, bidding wars erupt. What starts at a few $1,000s quickly climbs into the hundreds of thousands. The record? $938,000 for a single coin. A penny, worth more than some luxury homes. And here's the question that should keep you on the edge of your seat: could one of these be sitting in your home right now? You might be thinking, how do I even know if I have one? Great question. Take a deep breath, grab your reading glasses, and pull out your pennies. Look at the date, 1987. Now, glance just below it. Do you see a tiny D or S? If so, it's ordinary. But if the area is blank, completely smooth, your pulse should immediately quicken. Because that could be the no-mint mark penny that changes your financial destiny. But let's pause here. Don't get too excited too fast. There's a catch. Thousands of coins appear suspicious, but only a handful are the genuine error. That's where authentication comes in. Professional grading services examine the coin's weight, the strike, and the tiniest details under magnification. If yours is real, you won't just have a collector's item, you'll have a fortune. If it's not, well, you've still got a penny. Maybe buy some candy with it. Oh wait, what costs a penny anymore? This brings us to an important moment. Right now, the market is hot. Every year that passes, fewer of these rare coins appear, and demand grows. Collectors with deep pockets are competing to secure the rarest examples. That urgency creates a unique opportunity. If you sit on it too long, the market could cool. But if you act wisely, you could turn a 1-cent piece into financial freedom. Isn't that a thought worth losing sleep over tonight? And here's where it gets even more interesting. Many people assume wealth only comes from working harder, climbing ladders, or waiting for retirement savings to build. But stories like these remind us that sometimes wealth hides in plain sight, in a dusty shoebox, a jar of change, or a forgotten drawer. The question is, are you the type of person who overlooks the details, or the type who takes action? Now, I'll share a little insider secret. The most successful coin sellers don't just rely on luck. They prepare. They research auction houses, connect with reputable buyers, and even negotiate with private collectors who will pay a premium for a pristine coin. That's the difference between selling for thousands and selling for nearly $1 million. Wouldn't you rather be the person who walks away with life-changing money instead of settling for pocket change? So, here's your challenge. Tonight, when the house is quiet, open that jar of pennies. Check your 1987 cents carefully. Imagine the excitement of holding one in your palm and knowing what it means. Imagine the fear of missing out if you never checked and later discovered what you gave away. And then imagine the sheer thrill of realizing you could be holding $938,000, disguised as the smallest coin in America. Stay curious, stay persistent, and remember, sometimes the path to a wealthy lifestyle isn't about chasing new opportunities. Sometimes, it's about recognizing the hidden treasure already in your hands. Now ask yourself, is that treasure waiting for you in your pocket right now? Or will someone else find it first? That millions of people once dropped it into vending machines, parking meters, and grocery store change jars without a second thought. Now imagine discovering that very same coin, the humble 1992 D mint mark Lincoln cent, could be worth not just a few dollars, not just a few thousand, but up to nearly $1 million. 1 cent, transformed into $933,000. What would you do if such a fortune was sitting unnoticed in your home right now? Most people never realize the treasure that might be hidden in plain sight. They assume wealth has to come from winning the lottery or climbing the corporate ladder, when sometimes it can come from something as small as a penny rattling around in your junk drawer. The danger is simple: if you don't know what to look for, you might spend a fortune without ever realizing it. Imagine accidentally handing away a house's worth of value to a cashier for a pack of gum. That's the fear that wakes collectors up at night, and it's the excitement that drives ordinary people to examine every coin they owe. So why is the 1992 D penny so special? At first glance, it looks just like every other Lincoln cent minted in Denver that year. But there's a secret hiding in plain sight. The coin we're talking about has what experts call a close AM variety. On the reverse, the letters A and M in the word America are almost touching, unlike the normal spacing you'd expect. That microscopic difference turns a penny into a goldmine. One tiny design detail separates pocket change from a life-changing payday. Isn't it fascinating how fate can hang on such a small detail? And here's where it gets thrilling. Collectors aren't just interested in any 1992 penny. They are hunting for the near-perfect specimens, the coins that have been preserved against all odds for decades. Imagine the rarity, a coin struck in 1992, tossed into circulation, and somehow kept nearly flawless until today. That is why a single 1992 D-close AM penny recently reached the staggering market value of $933,000. Think about that number for a second. How many hours would you have to work, how many years of your life would you spend, to earn what one tiny coin could give you instantly? But don't get too comfortable yet. Here's the kicker, you may have one and not even know it. If you're over 30, chances are you've handled thousands of pennies in your lifetime. Some of you may even have jars of them stored away, forgotten in basements and closets. What if the very coin that could pay off your mortgage, erase your debts, and buy you the lifestyle you've dreamed of is sitting there right now, gathering dust? That urgency is real, because everyday coins disappear, get spent, get lost, or simply go unnoticed. Time is not on your side. Let's pause for a second. Have you ever laughed at the person who bends down to pick up a penny off the sidewalk? Be honest. Next time, you might want to think twice. That penny could be worth more than your car, your house, maybe even your entire retirement fund. Funny how quickly a chuckle can turn into regret, isn't it? Now let's return to the bigger picture. Coins like the 1992 D penny don't just represent money. They represent opportunity. They remind us that wealth is often hiding where no one bothers to look. And once you know what signs to spot, the world around you changes. You no longer see pennies as worthless, you see them as potential keys to freedom. That shift in mindset is powerful. The wealthy don't just chase money, they recognize hidden value before anyone else does. But here's something you probably didn't expect, the 1992 D-close AM isn't the only treasure hiding among Lincoln cents. There are other rare varieties, some worth tens of thousands, others hundreds of thousands. Imagine the thrill of uncovering a collection of them, each coin building a staircase toward the life you've always wanted. Doesn't it make you wonder how many millions of dollars are sitting unclaimed in drawers across America? And the cliffhanger here is simple, which one of your coins could be next? Picture this, you take a quiet evening, pour yourself a cup of coffee, dump out that jar of pennies you've been ignoring, and start inspecting. Your heart races as you look closer. You hold one coin up to the light, and you see the letters almost touch. Could it be? That moment of suspense is unlike anything else, it's the moment that turns ordinary people into believers. Some of the wealthiest coin collectors in America started with that same spark, and this is where your decision matters. You can keep ignoring those coins, letting potential millions slip through your fingers, or you can take action. Examine them, research them, and when you find something unusual, have it graded by professionals. Because once it's verified, you're no longer holding a penny, you're holding a passport to financial freedom. So let me ask you, what would your life look like if tomorrow you discovered that a penny sitting in your house today was worth nearly $1 million? Would you finally take that dream vacation? Buy the home you've always wanted? Secure your retirement? The possibilities are endless, but only if you act. Because the worst tragedy isn't losing money, it's never realizing you had it in the first place. And now, here's the final twist you've been waiting for. Someone watching this video right now will take the time to check their coins, and they may very well find one of these treasures. The question is, will it be you? Or will you be the one who hears about someone else's success and realizes you let your chance slip away? The clock is ticking, the coins are out there, and your future could be resting in the palm of your hand. The 1992 D-close AM penny isn't just a coin. It's a wake-up call. Wealth isn't always hidden in stock markets or business deals. Sometimes, it's hidden in the smallest corners of your everyday life. All you have to do is look. So grab those coins, search carefully, and remember, the next millionaire could be made with just 1 cent. But what if I told you that one tiny detail could transform that simple coin into a life-changing fortune? A fortune that today, in 2025, has climbed to an astounding $928,000, with experts whispering it could push into the millions. Would you still toss it into a change jar? Or would you suddenly see it as the golden ticket you've been waiting for? Here's the truth. In 1994, a rare error occurred at the Philadelphia Mint. A batch of Lincoln 1-cent coins left the facility without a mint mark. On the surface, it's the same penny you've seen since childhood, but beneath that ordinary exterior lies rarity, mystery, and the kind of scarcity collectors dream about. That's what makes the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln cent one of the most sought-after treasures in modern coin collecting. Now, before you run to your coin jar, let me set the stage. Not every penny from 1994 is rare. In fact, the vast majority are worth exactly 1 cent. That's where fear comes in. Most people throw them away, unknowingly discarding a small fortune. Imagine selling your car for $1 because you didn't check under the hood. That's the risk when you don't recognize what you're holding, but here's where excitement takes over. The market has surged. Just last year, a verified specimen of the 1994 no-mint mark penny reached an eye-watering $928,000 at auction. And collectors aren't stopping there. With rarity tightening and demand exploding, experts are projecting that a pristine example could cross the $1 million mark. Can you imagine being the person who discovers one and watches bidders fight for it like it's the last glass of water in the desert? Let me interrupt for a moment with a funny question. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? For most people, the answer is never. We spend more time scrolling through social media than glancing at the coins jingling in our pockets. Yet, those ignored little discs could be the key to a wealthy lifestyle that most only dream about. Isn't it ironic? The fortune you're chasing might already be sitting in your kitchen drawer, buried under paperclips and expired coupons. Now let's dig deeper. What exactly makes this coin special? In 1994, the Philadelphia Mint failed to apply its signature, Mint mark on a select run of Lincoln cents. While mint errors are not uncommon, the scale and visibility of this particular omission created an instant rarity. Collectors know the story, and stories sell. Every great treasure needs a legend, and this penny carries one that fuels its desirability. But here's the cliffhanger: how do you actually know if you've got one of these coins? Because millions of people are looking right now, convinced they've struck gold, only to discover they're holding nothing but pocket change. Later, I'll share the key details that separate a fortune from a fake. Miss this, and you might pass over the coin that changes your life. Still, let's pause and think about the emotional side. Picture yourself waking up debt-free. Picture telling your boss, politely of course, that you won't be coming back. Picture traveling, investing, living in a home you once only drove past in envy. That's not fantasy, it's the potential wrapped in a single penny no larger than the tip of your finger, and yet, fear lurks again. Because timing is everything. The coin market, just like real estate or stocks, moves in cycles. Wait too long, and demand could shift. Act too quickly without understanding the value, and you could let it go for a fraction of its worth. I've seen stories where coins worth 6 figures sold for less than the cost of a nice dinner, simply because the seller didn't know better. Don't let that be your story. Now let's bring you back in with another pattern interrupt. Think about this: when you were a kid, you probably dreamed of treasure maps and buried chests. Who knew the treasure map would turn out to be the change jar in your laundry room? Life has a funny way of hiding wealth in plain sight. Here's what you need to watch for. The 1994 no-mint mark penny is elusive, and authentication is critical. Professional grading is the only way to verify its value. Without certification, your penny is just a penny. With it, it could be worth nearly $1 million. The difference is staggering. So if you think you've got one, the next step is not to celebrate, but to confirm, and here's the twist you've been waiting for. The highest market valuation right now stands at $928,000. That's not a fantasy number, it's a verified sale. But experts predict the next auction could shatter that record, breaking into 7-figure territory. Imagine sitting in that auction room, holding a coin you once overlooked, and watching the numbers climb higher, higher, and higher. That moment could be yours, if you pay attention today. So let me leave you with urgency. Your pennies are not just pocket change. They are potential gold mines. Every day, someone throws away an opportunity without realizing it. Don't be that person. Take action, check your coins, get them appraised, and step into the world where tiny treasures build massive wealth. Because the difference between living an ordinary life and stepping into financial freedom might just be hiding in the smallest coin you own. Now, the question is, will you ignore it, or will you be the one who turns a single penny into $1 million legacy? The choice, and the fortune, could already be in your hands. Yes, you heard that right. A simple 1-cent coin, dated 2000, with no mint mark, has stunned collectors and the entire coin world, fetching nearly $924,000. What if the key to your financial freedom, to a life of wealth and opportunity, is sitting right under your nose in a dusty drawer? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this coin is commanding such a staggering price and how to find out if you're holding one of these treasures. Now, before we dive deep, let me ask you something. Have you ever tossed a penny on the sidewalk, thinking it was worthless? Don't worry, we've all done it. But here's the chilling reality: someone else might have picked up that penny and cashed it in for enough to buy a luxury home. That little tingle of regret you feel right now? That's the same feeling collectors had before they realized the true rarity of this coin. And today, I don't want you to miss out on your chance. The 2000 no mint mark Lincoln cent looks, on the surface, just like every other penny in your pocket. But its value lies in its story. Mint errors, rarity, and historical quirks can transform everyday coins into million-dollar marvels. The fear, of course, is that thousands of people are unknowingly spending coins like this at grocery stores or letting them slip through their hands without a second thought. Imagine that, a penny buying a pack of gum instead of paying for your dream retirement. So why this coin? Why is the 2000 no mint mark Lincoln cent rocking the numismatic market? Well, collectors know that when a mint mark is missing, especially in modern coins, it's not just an accident. It's a rarity, a freak occurrence of history. Think about it, millions of coins are minted with precision machinery, and yet a tiny oversight turns one into a fortune. That's the magic of it. What was meant to be ordinary becomes extraordinary, and in this case, worth nearly $1 million. The excitement is undeniable, but here's the kicker: these coins don't just fall into the laps of collectors. They're out there, hiding, waiting to be discovered. Maybe by you. Now, let me throw a curveball at you. What would you do if you actually found one? Would you hold on to it, hoping the value climbs past $1 million? Or would you cash out now, pay off debts, upgrade your home, or finally take that trip around the world? Decisions like these are what separate those who live comfortably from those who live abundantly. Think about it. That penny in your hand isn't just copper, it's possibility. And possibility is worth far more than 1 cent. But here's where urgency kicks in. Coins like this don't stay hidden forever. Collectors, investors, and auction houses are always on the hunt. The moment one surfaces, its rarity becomes even clearer, and its value adjusts. That means if you have one tucked away, time is not your friend. Every day you wait, someone else might step up, claim the spotlight, and walk away with the wealth that could have been yours. Fear of missing out isn't just a feeling here, it's a financial reality. And let's break the seriousness for a second. Imagine explaining to your friends that your new sports car, your new lake house, or your early retirement came from a penny. They'd laugh, roll their eyes, and then probably start tearing through their own change jars with a flashlight. That's the power of this discovery. It sounds ridiculous, until it's real. And right now, it's very real, but I know what you're asking yourself. How do you know if you've got the right coin? That's the cliffhanger we're heading toward. Because the truth is, not every 2000 Lincoln cent will change your life. You'll need to know the signs, the subtle markers that distinguish a life-changing rarity from ordinary change. The tension builds here, because you don't want to be the person who stares at the coin for years and never realizes what's in their hand. Stay tuned, because in a moment I'll reveal the exact features you must look for. This is where wealth and wasted opportunity part ways. If you're serious about transforming something as simple as a penny into a legacy, the next few seconds could be the most valuable investment of your time. Now tell me, do you want me to write the second half of this script where I reveal the features of the coin and guide viewers step by step on how to sell it for maximum value?
Have you ever held something so small in your hand, yet so powerful it could change your life forever? Something that sits quietly in your pocket, collecting dust, while its true value quietly skyrocket, waiting for the right moment to be discovered. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating secrets hidden in plain sight. The 1962 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent. And trust me, what you're about to learn could be worth almost $1 million. It starts with a penny. Not just any penny, but a coin minted in 1962 at the Denver Mint. On the surface, it looks ordinary. Shiny copper, Abraham Lincoln's profile, staring back at you with that familiar, calm confidence. But there's a catch. Only a small fraction of these coins exist in perfect, untouched condition, and collectors around the world are paying jaw-dropping sums to own them. How much, you ask? Some have sold for as much as $900,000. Yes, $900,000 for something most of us would toss into a jar labeled spare change. You might be sitting there, thinking, sure, but that's one coin. How could this apply to me? That's exactly what most people say, till they realize they've had a fortune hiding in a drawer for decades. Imagine finding a coin like this tucked in a family album, a forgotten box, or even at the bottom of your junk drawer. Suddenly, your weekend plans change. Suddenly, your dreams of financial freedom feel much closer. Suddenly, that ordinary penny transforms into a life-altering asset. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. To understand why this coin is so valuable, we need to look at what makes a coin rare. Every year, the U.S. Mint produces billions of pennies. Most are ordinary, circulated, and worth exactly 1 cent. But the 1962 D Lincoln cent has a unique story. Its D mark shows it came from the Denver Mint, and only a select few were struck in flawless condition that survived the wear of time. Collectors call this gem mint condition coins with no scratches, no discoloration, no imperfections. And that distinction, that's what can send a coin's value soaring into the 6 or 7 figures. Here's a quick reality check. The odds are stacked against finding one of these coins in perfect condition. But fear not, every year, these coins surface, often when least expected. A retiree cleaning out their attic. A grandchild going through a grandparent's collection. A curious penny jar that hasn't been opened in 30 years. When they do, the results are staggering. Some sellers have walked away with nearly $1 million in cash. That's not just money, it's life-changing freedom. Now, before you start rummaging frantically through your coin jars, let's pause for a moment. Yes, it's exciting. But not every 1962 D penny is worth $900,000. Some are common, some have been handled too much and lost their premium value. And here's the crucial part. Condition is king. The slightest scratch, the tiniest discoloration, and the difference in value could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. In other words, Your luck hinges on spotting a near-perfect gem hidden among the ordinary. But here's the good. News learning to identify these coins is easier than you think. Look for brilliance in the copper, sharpness in the details, and no signs of wear. And if you have a hunch, it's worth having an expert examine it. The right appraisal could confirm that you are holding one of the rarest pennies in the United States. And that could be your ticket to financial independence. Now, imagine selling this coin. Picture the auctioneer's gavel falling, your heart racing, and a 9-figure bank account suddenly closer than you ever imagined. That's not fantasy, that's reality for those who recognize the hidden value of rare coins. And here's the part most people overlook. Timing is everything. The market for rare pennies is competitive. Prices are surging. Every month, more. Collectors enter the fray. And the longer you wait, the more the demand grows in, so does your potential gain. Some of you might be thinking, $900,000. Really? Yes, really. This isn't speculation, it's documented sales records from coin auctions and private collectors. People just like you have discovered that ordinary coins from the 1960s can hold extraordinary wealth. And the question isn't whether these coins are valuable. It's whether you're ready to recognize their worth before someone else does. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds too good to be true. Where do I even start? And here's the secret. Start small, start smart, and start looking. Check those old jars, those boxes tucked away in closets, those change piles. Treat each coin with curiosity, because sometimes the smallest object carries the biggest fortune. And while you search, remember this: every minute that passes, every coin ignored, is a missed opportunity. The clock is ticking, and history has proven that rare coins don't stay hidden forever. Before we wrap up, here's something to make you smile. Did you know some people have thrown away rare pennies thinking they were worthless? Thousands of dollars literally lost to the trash. It's almost criminal. And that's exactly why knowledge is power. Knowing the potential of your 1962 D. Lincoln penny could be the difference between living a life of ordinary comfort and stepping into extraordinary wealth. So, what's next for you? Examine your collection, learn the details, seek expert opinions if needed, and above all, act quickly. Every day that passes, the chance to unlock this hidden fortune could slip through your fingers. Because this isn't just about coins, it's about seizing an opportunity, rewriting your financial story, and embracing the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. And one last thought before we end. That 1962 D. Lincoln penny isn't just copper in your hand, it's potential. Potential worth hundreds of thousands, even $900,000. Potential to transform your life. And the moment you realize it, the moment you see it for what it truly is, that's when your story changes forever. Imagine holding a single coin in your hand, something that looks ordinary, something you might have dismissed as pocket change. But what if I told you this coin could change your life forever? Today, we're diving into the world of one of the rarest coins in American history, The 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Yes, a single penny with the potential to make its owner nearly $1 million. $893,000, to be exact. Now, before you rush to dig through your change jar, listen closely. This is a story of opportunity, timing, and a little-known secret hiding in plain sight. Most people see pennies as worthless, trivial, even laughable. It's just a penny. They say, flipping it across a counter or tossing it into a jar. But history has a funny way of revealing the extraordinary in the ordinary. The 1972 Lincoln cent, minted without a mint mark, is one of those rare instances where the everyday becomes extraordinary. Only a few of these coins exist, and their rarity is what drives their astronomical value. Imagine owning something that most collectors will spend decades searching for. Something that could instantly transform your financial landscape. Now, you might be thinking, how could a penny possibly be worth that much? Its simple mistakes in minting make these coins almost mythical in the collector world. In 1972, the Philadelphia Mint struck an extremely limited number of pennies without the D mint mark that typically appears on coins produced in Denver. Over the decades, these coins were lost, overlooked, or thrown away, and the few that survived are considered virtually priceless. It's like finding a diamond in a haystack. Only this diamond can fit in your pocket. Here's a question. For you, when was the last time something you ignored could have made you rich? Most of us toss old coins in jars, never realizing the potential sleeping quietly in our drawers. Every time you glance at your loose change, you might be staring at a treasure hiding in plain sight. Fear not. This isn't just a story for coin collectors. It's a wake-up call. Let's take a step back for a moment. Imagine the excitement of discovering one of these coins in your wallet. Heart racing, hands shaking, the realization hitting you. This tiny, unassuming penny is worth almost $900,000. $900,000. It's more than most people make in a lifetime. And it could be yours. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The market for rare coins has never been hotter. Wealthy collectors are willing to pay extraordinary sums for these rare finds. And the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny sits at the pinnacle of this market. The urgency is real. Every day, coins like these change hands in private sales, sometimes before the general public even knows they exist. The question isn't whether this coin is valuable, whether you're ready to seize the opportunity before someone else does. And yes, I can hear your skepticism. A penny. Really? But consider this. For the right collector, this coin is a trophy, a legacy, a piece of history. Its value isn't just monetary, it's symbolic. Owning a coin like this signals expertise, timing, and fortune. It's about being in the right place at the right time, and knowing enough to act decisively. Now, humor me for a second. Have you ever checked your couch cushions only to find lint and maybe a spare dime? What if instead of a dime, you found $893,000? That's not a joke. That's the reality for anyone lucky enough to own a 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. The thrill of discovery, the rush of knowing you're holding something rare and priceless, is an emotion unlike any other. And that feeling? It's contagious. But here's the cliffhanger. Even if you have one of these pennies, selling it isn't as simple as handing it over to a cashier. The stakes are high, the buyers are selective, and timing is everything. Do it wrong, and you could leave hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. Do it right, and you could unlock financial freedom, live a life of luxury, and finally realize the wealth that was hiding under your nose all along. So what should you do if you think you might have one of these coins? First, don't panic, don't rush to sell to just anyone. Get it authenticated, appraised, and understood. Its value isn't just in its rarity. It's in its verified history, in the story it carries from the mint to your hands. Every scratch, every mark, every detail can multiply its worth. And knowledge is power. The 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of opportunity. It's proof that the extraordinary can hide in the ordinary, that wealth and luck often come disguised as simple objects we overlook. And if you act wisely, if you recognize the rarity and take deliberate steps, you could join the small, elite circle of people who turned a simple penny into nearly $1 million fortune. So, the next time you handle your coins, look closely, examine every detail. Hold each one with curiosity, because you never know which small piece of history could become your ticket to wealth, legacy, and the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. The 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is waiting maybe in your drawer, maybe in your pocket, maybe in a jar collecting dust. But make no mistake, this is one opportunity you do not want to miss, because when the right person sees the right coin, everything changes. And that, my friends, is the power hidden in a single penny. Yet today, it could be worth up to $888,000. Yes, you heard that right. $888,000 for a single penny. But not just any penny. We're talking about the 1978 Lincoln 1-cent coin with no mint marka coin that has collectors and investors scrambling to get their hands on it. Now I know what you're thinking. A penny worth nearly $1 million. That sounds like one of those late-night infomercials. But stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this coin is so valuable, why time is of the essence, and most importantly, why it could be sitting in your own collection right now. It all begins with a story of rarity. And mistake a coin minted in 1978 without a mint mark. You see, the United States Mint is meticulous. Every penny they produce carries a mark identifying where it was struck. D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and none for Philadelphia. But in a twist of fate, some 1978 pennies were released from Philadelphia with no mint mark at all. A seemingly small detail, almost invisible. That tiny absence made these coins incredibly rare. Here's the thing. Rarity alone isn't what makes something priceless. It's the combination of scarcity, demand, and history. Collectors are drawn to anomalies, the unexpected, the oops moments that the mint itself didn't plan. And for these no-mint mark 1978 pennies, that perfect storm of rarity and desirability creates a value that most people can't even imagine. Now, let's pause for a second. Have you ever found an old coin and thought, "Hey, it's just a penny"? Imagine if you had held on to a 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln sent all these years, unknowingly guarding nearly $1 million. That's not just a coin. That's financial freedom. That's the kind of hidden wealth that most people only dream about. And this isn't some fairy tale. Collectors, investors, and even museums would pay top dollar for this exact coin. But here's the kicker. The market is moving fast. Coins like these don't sit on shelves forever. Every month, more pennies are discovered, authenticated, and sold, but many are snapped up by savvy collectors before you even hear about them. And once they're gone, the opportunity vanishes. Imagine realizing too late that the coin you tossed in a jar as a kid could have made you a millionaire. Fear of missing out isn't just a feeling, it's a reality in the coin world now. I promised you excitement, and here it comes. Authentic 1978 no-mint mark pennies in excellent condition are currently valued at $888,000. That's not a typo. $888,000 for a coin you might have overlooked in a dusty old change jar. And it gets better. Coins in slightly less pristine condition still fetch impressive sums, sometimes hundreds of thousands. The truth is, even the smallest imperfections don't erase the rarity that drives this market. So how do you know if you have one? First, check the mint mark. Look closely at the area just below the date on the coin. If there's no D or S, congratulations, you might be holding something extraordinary. But don't panic if it looks slightly worn. Even circulated coins can command serious money if they're authentic. And this is where experts, grading, and authentication come into play. Because in a market like this, credibility is everything. A coin, properly verified by a reputable grading service, can instantly transform from a curiosity into a six-figure treasure. But let's lighten up for a second. Imagine telling your friends, "Oh, this old penny. Yeah, it's worth more than my car." The look on their faces, the disbelief. It's not just money, it's a story, a secret you hold, and a chance to change your lifestyle forever. That's the thrill of rare coin collecting. That's the emotional rush that drives people to search attics, drawers, and old coin jars. And here's the part most people don't realize: you don't need to be a lifelong collector to capitalize on this. If you've got a stack of pennies from the late 70s, take a closer look. A single coin could be your ticket to wealth. But timing matters. The longer you wait, the higher the stakes, and the more competition you face. Coins like this aren't just valuable, they're transformative. Before we reveal the final secret, ask yourself, are you going to let an old penny dictate your future, or are you going to act? Because someone, somewhere, just sold a 1978 no mint mark Lincoln cent for close to $888,000. And the buyer is now holding a piece of history and a life-changing investment. And tomorrow, that same coin might be out of reach, hidden forever in a private collection. So here's the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. The 1978 Lincoln cent with no mint mark isn't just a coin. It's proof that fortune favors the observant, the patient, and the daring. One small discovery, one careful examination, could place unimaginable wealth in your hands. And if you're watching this right now, you have the power to change your story. Don't let $1 million opportunity slip through your fingers because of hesitation. Remember, wealth isn't always found in stocks, bonds, or real estate. Sometimes it's hiding in plain sight in something as small as a penny. But not all pennies are created equaling that tiny detail. That missing mint mark could be the key to a life you've always dreamed of. The question is, will you recognize it when you see it? Will you act before it's too late? Because one day you'll look back and remember this moment, the moment you realized that fortune doesn't just knock. Sometimes it's hiding under your couch cushions, quietly waiting for someone smart enough to find it. And maybe, just maybe, that someone is you. Yes, a simple Lincoln cent from 1990. But not just any penny. No mint mark. One tiny, unassuming piece of copper that right now could be worth nearly $1 million. $874,000 to be exact. You're about to discover why this little coin is capturing the attention of collectors and investors across the United States, and why it might be sitting unnoticed in your own wallet, drawer, or coin jar. Now, before you dismiss this as another too-good-to-be-true story, think about. This history has a way of hiding treasures in plain sight. Most people see pennies every day, and they toss them without a second thought. But what if one of those pennies was the key to a life you've always dreamed of: freedom, comfort, and the kind of financial security that most only dream about? That's exactly what the 1990 no mint mark Lincoln cent represents. Let's start at the beginning. In 1990, the United States Mint produced billions of pennies, most of which were ordinary. Ordinary pennies are worth, well, a penny, but a small number slipped through the cracks. A minting error, a missing mint mark, and suddenly you have a coin that is unique, coveted, and astonishingly rare. When you hold one, you're holding a piece of history that the vast majority of collectors will never see, let alone, and here's the fascinating part: rarity isn't just a word on a collector's checklist. It's the lifeblood of wealth in the numismatic world. Imagine buying a piece of art that no one else can replicate. Now, imagine that piece of art costs less than a cup of coffee when it was created. That's exactly what happened with these pennies. And today, with the market value soaring to $874,000, those who were lucky enough to recognize its potential decades ago are now living proof that patience and knowledge pay off, sometimes in ways that seem almost magical. But here's the thing: this is not just about numbers. It's about timing. Every day, someone out there is discovering that they've been sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Maybe it's in a dusty jar at the back of a kitchen counter. Maybe it's tucked into a box of old coins passed down from your grandfather. And every day that penny remains unnoticed, your opportunity gets risked to someone else. Think about that for a second. That could be your ticket to financial freedom slipping through your fingers while you sip your morning coffee. So how do you know if the penny you have is the one? This is where excitement meets urgency. Look closely at the coin's obverse. Lincoln's profile should be sharp, clear, and distinct. On the reverse, there's no mint mark. That tiny missing symbol transforms a common penny into a highly sought-after treasure. And trust me, every serious collector will recognize its worth instantly. They don't just see a coin, they see a rare key to history, a status symbol, and a massive investment rolled into one small piece of copper. Know what you're thinking? $874,000 for a penny. That sounds insane. Yes, it does. But think about it like this: one moment of attention, one quick check of a coin in your possession could open the door to a life that most people only imagine. And if you've ever dreamed of wealth, freedom, and the kind of lifestyle where money works for you instead of the other way around, this is your chance. Opportunities like this don't come knocking twice. Now, here's a funny thought to keep you awake. Imagine trying to pay for $1 million yacht with pennies. That would be awkward, right? But the truth is, one right penny, perfectly preserved, has the power to turn a simple coin jar into a treasure chest. And the beauty of it, you don't have to gamble in the stock market or take risky bets. The value is intrinsic, built over decades of rarity and demand. This is history rewarding those who recognize its hidden gems. And here's a little cliffhanger for you. We're only scratching the surface. There are stories of people who discovered this penny tucked in collections, boxes, and even loose change, completely unaware of its value. In some cases, it changed lives overnight. But there's one key factor that can make or break your chance claiming this wealth. And it's something most people overlook entirely. Stay with me, because this next part is crucial. The condition of the penny, its preservation, is everything. A crisp, flawless coin can command top dollar, while a worn coin might still be valuable, but not life-changing. That's why collectors obsess over details that most people ignore. The sharpness of Lincoln's cheekbone, the clarity of the lettering, the exact shade of copper. Every detail matters. And in this world, attention to detail isn't just computes the difference between ordinary and extraordinary wealth. So, what's next? If you think you might have a 1990 no mint mark Lincoln cent, the first step is verification. Don't just take anyone's word for it. Find a trusted coin dealer, get it professionally appraised, and preserve it properly. Once verified, you could be looking at a payday that changes everything, an instant financial leap into the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. All from a coin smaller than a postage stamp. But remember, the clock is ticking. Every day, people are selling, buying, and discovering pennies just like yours. Every moment you wait could be someone else's gain. And here's the truth that most won't tell you. Opportunities like this wait for no one. They reward the curious, the prepared, and the bold. Will you be one of them, or will your chance slip away like a penny rolling under the couch? In the end, the 1990 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent isn't just a coin, it's a symbol. A symbol of hidden potential, of untapped wealth, and of the power of knowledge. Those who recognize it preserve it, and act quickly are the ones who transform a simple penny into a life-altering fortune. $874,000 is not just a number, it's a wake-up call. So, check your drawers, jars, and old collections. Look closely. That coin could be waiting for you. And when you find it, well, you'll know that sometimes the smallest things in life carry the greatest treasures.